Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Rivero. The new United States Embassy in Jerusalem is set to open in just a matter of days. But a short distance away, violent protests are entering their 7th week. Palestinians are clashing with the Israeli military near the border fence that separates the Gaza Strip from Israel. CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams is there with more on the growing unrest.
For 6 weeks now, they've been holding these protests, and today we have seen Palestinian demonstrators throwing rocks, burning tires, and trying to pull down the fence that separates Gaza from Israel. In response, Israeli soldiers have been firing tear gas canisters and some live ammunition. More than 40 Palestinian demonstrators have been killed over the last few weeks. Now, the fence is about 100 yards away, and it cuts the Palestinians who live here in Gaza off from the outside world because of a more than 10-year-long blockade that has exacerbated their poverty. The Palestinian protesters say that what they want is the right to return to land that they left behind in 1948 when the State of Israel was founded. There are about 2 million people living here in Gaza, and 2/3 of them are either refugees or the descendants of refugees. These protests will culminate next week, the 70th anniversary of the founding of the State of Israel. Holly Williams, CBS News, Gaza.
The Palestinian protests in Gaza have left more than 40 people dead in recent weeks. Seth Doane is in Israel with how the military has been defending the border.
Here on the Israeli side of the border, Israelis are watching warily and well aware of Hamas's plan to try to get its supporters to storm the security fence and cross into Israel. You can see this tank here. We are at one of the frontline bases very close to the border. Israel has cameras up in blimps, drones. It has all of the assets of a modern military, but it is in a bind. If it uses those assets, there could be more Palestinian deaths, and those powerful images hand a potential propaganda victory to Hamas. Earlier in the day, we were at a protest of people demonstrating against Hamas. There we met a woman whose son was an Israeli soldier who was killed 4 years ago in a war with Hamas. His body has never been returned. She said that she sees the people in Gaza as her enemies, but says she also worries that the civilians there are being used as human shields. Seth Doane, CBS News, on the border with Gaza here in Israel.
And Dan Raviv joins me now from Washington. He's a former CBS News correspondent and is now a senior Washington correspondent for the global TV channel I-24 News. He's also the author of books on U.S.-Israel relations. Dan, thanks for joining us. The U.S. Embassy will open on the 70th anniversary of the State of Israel's founding. What do you expect to see?
Well, a big ceremony, of course, in Jerusalem with members of the Trump cabinet, such as the Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin attending, also Ivanka Trump, and her husband, Jared Kushner, you know, the president's son-in-law, who's been trying his hand at Middle East mediation. But, hey, you just saw all the passions in those reports by Holly and Seth. There's no sign right now of some negotiations to take place. But by deciding last December that the United States would move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, something that Israelis wanted for decades, President Trump decided to show he's pro-Israel, and he said he's taking Jerusalem off the table, so now you can go ahead and negotiate. It doesn't seem to be working out, but still you have the ceremony there, and Trump believes that for his domestic politics here in the U.S., it's working for him, Tanya.
Well, remind us why this is so upsetting to Palestinians and what they have threatened to do about it.
Well, they also have a claim on Jerusalem. Of course, the basic problem is that Jews and Palestinians are, in fact, living with rival claims for the entire territory, what the British used to call Palestine, from the Mediterranean all the way to the Jordan River. So Israel was founded exactly 70 years ago. The Palestinians never had an independent state. Egypt held the Gaza Strip. Jordan had the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Israel got out of the Gaza Strip, by the way, in 2005, and says the only result was violence, as Palestinians have been angry. They felt ignored. And now President Trump decides to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and declare that Jerusalem is Israel's capital. The Palestinians say, what about us? What about our legitimate claim? By the way, the Trump administration says, we're not saying anything about that. Please enter negotiations. Maybe Jerusalem can be capital of 2 independent states. I guess maybe, Tanya.
We'll see. All right. So do the Palestinians or the Israelis feel that the U.S. Embassy move could impact future negotiations of peace between the two sides?
Well, you do have a claim, even from Benjamin Netanyahu's government in Israel, that this clears the way for future talks. It's now clear Jerusalem has been the historic capital of the Jewish people, and Netanyahu claims he's willing to speak with the Palestinians, but they feel that Israel is holding so much land in the West Bank, has built settlements, and doesn't really intend to allow a fully fledged Palestinian state. So for now, the Palestinians are refusing to talk to Israel and refusing to talk to the Trump administration. I guess we'll just have to get over whatever happens in the coming week. The opening of the new U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem on Monday. Tuesday, Palestinians protesting what they call the catastrophe of 1948. Probably some more violence. We'll see if it leads to anything good, Tanya.
Yeah, all right. Now, on Thursday, Israel says it struck dozens of military targets in Syria linked to Iran. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, another battlefront for Israel. I mean, the Israelis consider Iran to be, the biggest danger in the region. And so for several years now, Iran's been building up its forces inside Syria because of the civil war in Syria since 2011. So Iran has its bases there. They have people helping President Assad's government in Syria. Israel kept warning, don't get close to the border, don't build up so much. And finally, it's erupted. And so the Iranians actually hit northern Israel, the Golan Heights held by Israel with rockets. The Israelis struck back big on Thursday, hitting 50 targets, mostly Iranian targets inside Syria. We don't know what's next. The Israelis feel that they sent a clear message. The Iranians are seething with anger, Tanya.
Dan Raviv of the global TV channel I-24 News, thank you.